Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In today's video, I'm going to do an overview of a gas water heater. Now, I already do have an overview video of an electric water heater, which I will link into the description so it's easier for you guys to navigate. But the goal of this video is to go over the parts and common problems that you can run into with a gas water heater. For the most part, they work the same way, but there are some key things that you need to know that are different if you want to maximize the life of your gas water heater. All right, this is our water heater. This is a 40-gallon. So every water heater will have a decal on it for what it is. So this is 40-gallon, 151 liters, 40,000 BTU. Has a model number. It will have a serial number as well. So for information on the type of water heater, this will be it, the decal. So starting from the very top, we have our hot, our cold, so our inlet, our outlet. This is a hood for the exhaust. So the bottom down here is for 4-inch, and then the top up here is for 3-inch. Every one of these things I've ever seen has a hood that is good for 3-inch and 4-inch. So if we pull it off, we have a baffle that goes down the middle. So the one key difference with a gas and electric, you're going to see that right down the very middle there is a tube where the exhaust gases will go up the middle of the tank, and generally it'll be vented to a chimney. So here's our anode. This is a sacrificial rod. You can now buy replacement rods. I would say probably replace these every 3 to 5 years. Replacing the anode rod is the best way to maximize the life of your tank. Flushing it out is a free thing to do. Do it twice a year, and that's going to also help get the sediment out of the tank to try to extend the life of your water heater. Okay, so this is our anode. This is a 27 millimeter. I've already loosened it off. So that's what's left of the anode. I think about half of it snapped off in the tank, but if you replace your anode every 3 to 5 years, that's also going to help extend the life of your tank. I believe replacing your anode is the best thing to extend the life of your tank. So this is the difference between a new anode and an old one. So this is the old one. You can see it's all pitting here, and then this is our new one. So these new ones are meant to be longer, so you can just cut it wherever you need to get it to fit. All right, this is our TMP, our temperature and pressure relief. So here it's going to have the rating. Now these things can leak. If you pull on the wing here, that is going to compress the spring, and then it's going to allow water to come out. If you have to change this because this is leaking, you can put a big crescent wrench or a pipe wrench and then unscrew this. If you do need to replace this, make sure that you shut off the inlet. Open this to get the water level down to here before you take this out. If you just unscrew this without draining the tank out, then you're going to get a whole ton of hot water spraying at you. Alright, so once again, this is our TMP. So when we pull the wing, that'll open it right here and then allow water to come out. Alright, so this is our drain. This is a globe style, which means if you just keep unscrewing it, that the valve will open. So if you hook up a hose to this, either run it outside, or if you have a floor drain, open this for 10 minutes and allow the water to get flushed out through the bottom. This here, flushing out your tank, is one simple, cost-effective way to extend the life of your water heater. Here we have our gas valve. So this is a Honeywell. This is the control for the temperature. So it says off, pilot, low, hot, and then you have a couple other settings. If your temperature is too low, you will use this dial to turn up the gas control for the water heater, so you can turn up the heat of the water. If your water gets too hot or the temperature gets too high, then your TMP here will release water so you don't have a bomb. Guys, I've seen this done a few times. Never do this. Never put a cap in here. If this is leaking, it's either your temperature is too high, your pressure is too high, or this is leaking itself. But never cap this off. This is a safety for your tank. Alright, so this is the tools for a gas water heater maintenance, at least in my opinion. So we have a 27 mil socket. This is for the anode. And then we have a flathead screwdriver. This is all you need to do regular maintenance for a gas water heater for a DIYer. Alright, so your lighting instructions will always be on the side of the tank. That's what this decal is here for. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at the burner assembly at the very bottom of the tank. Alright, so underneath this door is the burner assembly. So our gas connection is here. This is our gas valve. This is the wire for the igniter. Pilot tube. The manifold tube. Pop the cover off. We have our temperature sensor. This is the window for the pilot, so when you look through it, you'll see that if the pilot is on or not. So the red hot in the middle, that is the thermocouple. With the burner kicked on, now you can really see it prominently. Alright, I'm going to take out the burner assembly. So there's a screw here, a screw here. I believe they're 1/4 inch on this model. I just used a crescent wrench to take it out. So we'll pull the connector off, and then we have the 2 nuts that we need to remove. Alright, this is our burner assembly. So we have our temperature sensor. We have our plug that goes to the gas valve. Manifold tube. So this is what's going to supply gas to the burner. We have the pilot tube here. This is the wire for the igniter for the pilot. We have our inspection window. So if you were to look at it, you'd see it like this, and then here we would have our pilot light. So guys, once again, I highly recommend you not taking this thing out ever unless you have a gas license. So we have our burner here. If this gasket isn't set properly, you can get a leak between here. So we have our igniter here. This is our pilot. So there will be a flame that goes onto this rod here. This is the thermocouple. You can see how it's discolored. So when you look in through the doorway over here, the window, this will be red hot. When this is red hot, it's going to create a millivoltage that is going to tell the gas valve that there is a pilot so the burner can kick on. If you can't get your your burner, your water heater to kick on the burner, this isn't working. Maybe it's misaligned or something of that nature, but the thermocouple here is meant to be a safety. These can be replaced. Once again, I recommend you get a professional to do it because this is gas. These things aren't expensive, maybe $10, but this is something that will go on occasion. I've never had to replace one myself, but I know lots of people that have replaced them over the years. All right, so this is where the burner assembly was sitting. So at the top is where you see the hole for the exhaust gases to go up. So we'll take a look from the top where I pulled out the baffle, and we should see the light from the very bottom here. So we see the light, so it's hollow down the middle. So like I said, the exhaust gases will come up through here, go into the exhaust vent, and then out the chimney. So a gas water heater is technically hollow in the middle. Alright, so this is the inside of our tank. So this is where our flue gas goes up from the bottom. This is our dip tube. This is our cold side. So the cold water will enter the tank from the very bottom. If you were to look at the tank from the side, as you move up, the temperature of the water will start to get warmer. That is the drain there. That is the gas valve. I think it's just a mounting bracket for the gas valve. If we look at the very bottom, you can see the rust water in the tank. So that is our anode, and then that is the hot. So the hot gets picked up off the tank. But this is very similar to an electric, I guess really minus this thing here. And then that is our TMP, the rod sticking out. So guys, one last thing. So this here, this is the old anode. What I'll do is I'll throw in the new one so you can get an idea of the contrast between the new and the old. And this is our new anode. So right now it's hitting the bottom. So from here, you'd be cutting the very bottom of the anode rod. One other thing that I've noticed is you look at the thickness of this one and then of the original. The original is like twice as thick, so I don't really have much optimism that this one will last the 3 to 5 years as this one would. Alright, so that concludes the overview for a gas water heater. In this case, this is a natural gas, but you can also get propane as well. One thing I did not touch on, if you ever drain out your water heater, never fire up your water heater when it's empty, because if you do, then depending on the age of the tank, you can destroy the metal because it'll get too hot. Otherwise, for servicing on the gas side, if you don't have a gas license, I highly suggest that you get a professional to do it. There's just too many things that can go wrong. I mean, a gas water heater is relatively simple. On the install side, there is more to it than there is for an electric, but the electric is the same thing. Never fire up an empty tank. The one other thing is, with the core in the middle, the hollow core, you're losing a little bit of volume of water. I'd say it's negligible, but other than that, I mean, the principle is pretty much the same. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope the information here is going to help you to be more confident in maintaining your water heater when the time comes. Guys, till next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.